Imagine trusting a stranger just enough to accept a ride, and never being seen again. He was soft-spoken, had a stable job, married, twice. No one suspected the man who would become the most prolific, confirmed serial killer in American history. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, confessed to killing 71 women and was convicted of 49 murders. But the scariest part? He looked just like everyone else. Today we go beyond the headlines. We'll break down the mind behind the monster, how he lured his victims, how he hid in plain sight, and what psychology reveals about people like him. Stay with us, because the real terror? It's not what Gary did, it is how easy it was for him to get away with it. Gary Leon Ridgway was born in 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah. On the surface, his childhood seemed average. But as psychologists will tell you, serial killers rarely erupt from nowhere. They evolve, slowly, in silence. His mother was domineering. She bathed him well into his early teens. He later confessed to being aroused during those moments, then immediately ashamed. That contradiction, arousal plus shame, is often the psychological spark in the formation of sexually violent offenders. At age 16, Ridgway stabbed a 6-year-old boy just to see what it felt like. The boy survived, but the warning sign was ignored. Behavioral psychologists would call this early conduct disorder, often linked to psychopathy in adults. The boy was bleeding. Gary just stood there and watched. Reported testimony. The 1980s in Washington state. Prostitutes were going missing near the Green River. A few at first, then a dozen, then more. Their bodies began appearing in clusters, dumped near ravines, woods, or the riverbanks. Gary Ridgway was working at a truck plant. He'd often pick up sex workers on his breaks, take them to secluded spots, strangle them during sex, and then go back to work like nothing happened. The victims weren't random. He chose women who were less likely to be missed quickly: runaways, addicts, sex workers. It's known as target vulnerability. Psychologically, he dehumanized them. He once said, "I picked prostitutes because I thought I could kill as many of them as I wanted without getting caught." Let that sink in. He was killing at such a frequency that at one point he confessed to murdering 2 women in one night. Gary Ridgway wasn't a shadowy recluse. He was married, attended church, he even read the Bible aloud with his wife. This is known in forensic psychology as the mask of sanity. Serial killers like Ridgway blend in so well because they mimic emotional behavior. They know how to appear normal, even charming. Neighbors called him polite. His co-workers never suspected a thing. But his calm demeanor hid an obsessive compulsion. He painted his victims' nails. He sometimes returned to the bodies to have sex with them. Necrophilia. That's called paraphilic disorder, where sexual arousal is linked to atypical stimuli. So why didn't he stop? Because Gary Ridgway didn't kill out of passion. He killed out of routine. His goal was control, power, predictability. You might wonder, how did he get away with it for decades? Part of it was the times. In the 1980s, there was no centralized DNA system, no mass databases, and his victims lived on society's edges, less attention from law enforcement. He also manipulated his tactics. Sometimes he used different vehicles, sometimes he left fake evidence. He even placed chewing gum at the scene once, to throw police off. Another reason? He helped police. He volunteered information, pretended to care. It was a psychological tactic. Insert yourself in the investigation and you'll seem helpful, not guilty. It worked. For a while. In 2001, technology caught up. A new forensic technique, DNA profiling, linked Ridgway to several victims. He was arrested and offered a plea deal. Avoid the death penalty in exchange for full confessions. And confess he did. With chilling calm, he listed names, places, and moments like he was recounting errands. That's classic psychopathic detachment. He showed little to no remorse. In one interview, he said, "Killing them wasn't hard. Keeping track of them was." Gary Ridgway confessed to 71 murders. Investigators believe the real number may be higher, possibly 90 plus. The public was stunned. Families were shattered. One father of a victim said in court, You destroyed my life, but I forgive you." Ridgway, for the first time, cried. Was it guilt? Or just the discomfort of someone refusing to hate him? Forensic psychologists say even psychopaths can mimic emotion under pressure. Whether it was real, we may never know. So what can we learn from the Green River Killer? Number 1. Monsters don't always look like monsters. They smile, they go to work, they attend cookouts, they blend in. Number 2. Targeting the vulnerable remains a systemic blind spot. Society often looks away from people it deems less valuable. That's exactly who serial killers exploit. Number 3. Ridgway didn't succeed because he was a genius. He succeeded because he was patient, boring, and completely remorseless. Right now, you're likely wondering, could someone in your life be hiding a second identity? That's the fear Ridgway leaves behind. Gary Ridgway is currently serving life without parole in Washington state. But the scars he left on victims' families and the justice system will never fully heal. If you found this story gripping, disturbing, or thought-provoking, share it. Not for shock value, but to remember the victims. To remind ourselves that evil often wears a human face. And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe. We uncover not just the crimes, but the psychology behind them. Because understanding why is the first step to never letting it happen again.